Back in the hoodie because the Martian jersey I've started to realize makes me sweaty as hell, and that is just not comfortable. Anyway, Bruins win at home against the Montreal Canadiens, and 5-2. Welcome back to Into the Den. The Bruins post game analysis show. I am your host, Jet. I am your host, Jet. I can't. Les habitants on no more of however the hell you would say. The Habs are no more in French. Freeman. And this win came a lot harder than I would have expected it to. I mean, the Habs came into this is pretty much at the bottom of the division, but like I think they came into this with like 4-10-1 or something like that as their record. But this game came a lot harder to us than I would have thought. But I mean, hey, it was we did get to celebrate a 30th birthday to Mr. Taylor Hall. Happy birthday, Taylor, and we'll talk about how you celebrated it later. Anyway, we had Swayman in net against Samuel Montembeault. Oh, I think that's how you pronounce it. And I think this was the first time Swayman started in net in back-to-back games since the Stars game to open up, and then the Flyers game. But this is the first time, and I think since like the very beginning of the season or something like that, that Oscar Steen ended up getting called up into the game. We still had Anton Blade in the and it's making me think that possibly one of the fourth line guys might have gotten injured. I think maybe it was Frederick that got injured or something like that. But the Bruins come out of the gate looking serviceable. They don't look like they're freaking world beaters, but they also don't look like they're playing terrible. Although that could also just be the fact that they're playing against the Habs. And I mean, the Habs do look fast as hell compared to us, but I mean, it's Montreal. The Canadiens have always been known for speed ever since they had Rocket Richard on their team. But a little bit early on, and Josh Anderson gets it's 2 in the box for cross-checking, and there isn't really much that the Bruins did. They had a few good opportunities, but they couldn't finish. But oh my god, Jeremy Swayman throughout this entire game was balling out. I mean, the kid is as acrobatic. The kid has been as acrobatic in his past few starts as Tuukka Rask was when he won the Vezina back in I think it was 2014. Like the kid's just flying all around the freaking crease just to find to make saves, and he makes them so much until Zaboral ends up letting Arniaga get past him on a 3-on-1. Like the entire the Habs had a 3-on-1, and then Zaboral was right in front of Arnia, and Arnia still managed to take a shot and get it past both Zaboral and Swayman. This was from like the center of the center of the Habs side playoff circle. Actually, no, the center of the Bruins side face-off circle, and there the Bruins bench side face-off circle. Sorry, of their territory. So that ends up with a freaking 1-0 lead, and then but the Bruins shortly after that goal get like this really nice burst of energy, and they spending almost a minute, a total minute in the Habs territory uninterrupted, and then Jake Evans gets 2 in the box for tripping, and pretty much every single bit of momentum just dies. They only get 1 shot all power play, and they just look so out of sync. Like what is the one thing that they tell you when what is the one thing that they tell you in any sport when trying to develop teamwork and passing? Do not pass to where they are, pass to where they're gonna be. And the Bruins for like the first period did exactly that. They kept passing to where each other was, and not where each other was going to be. And that is how you get 1 shot on goal all power play. And then almost immediately, Josh Anderson again gets in the box with a penalty that I honestly don't think should have happened. And he was diving for the puck and trying to swat it away from Nosek, and like he brings it back a little bit, and it goes across Nosek's body as he's falling. So that ended up being a slashing call. Well, but to make up for it, I guess Marchand ends up getting 2 in the box for tripping, and that leaves us with a minute 1 of 4-on-4 play for the rest of the first period. And the Bruins thankfully did not give up anything on this 4-on-4, but they look so out of sync, and it's like, how the Habs are not good. The Habs are frauds. And it's absolutely, they are 100% frauds. And then, but we start the second period. Both ponies end up getting killed, and it looked momentum is shifting wildly. Like you're on the fucking you're on rocky waters here. There's 1 minute the puck's getting taken all the way down to the Bruins territory. The next minute it's going down to the Habs. But the Bruins come out of this looking hungry, like they want to freaking whip, like they want to punch someone in the mouth and get freaking and get something going. And it culminates in the freaking cuddle puddle behind the Habs. Behind the Habs net, as Foligno's just trying desperately to poke the puck in and like everybody's just like, come here, you piece of shit. But excuse me. But what is it? After that, the Bruins get a lot of scoring chances that, again, they just can't finish. And I mean, yeah, it's hockey, but still, well, you have an insane net front havoc where it looks like what's going to happen. what happened last this game against the Devils, where the puck's just sitting right on the line, and Bergie can just poke it in, and it was going to happen. But no, it slips away. Pasta and Marshy get a fantastic breakaway, and Pasta puts it right into Montembeau's chest, and then a wraparound from Gretzky's off from Halla goes right through Hall's skates. It's like, come on, and eventually we finally strike gold from Charlie McAvoy skating in as a shot from Hall gets rebounds right in front of him, and he can just chip it up. Really, Windows, you gonna piss me off like that? And then, but after that, it looks like the Bruins are so much more aggressive in this second period. Like, this is quite possibly the most energetic I've seen the Bruins play in the second all season, except for probably again that Florida game in that Florida game at home. But and that might be because, and the reason why I think they were better in that Florida game than this one is because here it felt like they were getting way too aggressive for their own good, and it ended up in a goal. Jakub Zboril commits way too hard to a hit and completely whiffs as taking him out of the play, and allows Michael Pezzetta to just put in a very lazy goal, and his first in his NHL career. I think I feel like he felt really proud of him. Like, wow, I haven't even scored, and these dudes are just I'm making this dude freaking whiff. I would also just like to remind everyone that we selected Jakub Zboril over Thomas Chabot, and we also selected Zachary Senyshyn over Matt Barzal and Kyle Connor. But that is a story for another time. That takes us to the end of period 2. And I just want to bring up the shot totals from period 1 to period 2. Bruins end the first period with 11 shots, and the Habs with 12. Second period, the Habs end the period with 22. The Bruins end it with 31. But we start period 3, and Pasta almost gets a nice scoring opportunity pretty early on, and that's foiled by Jeff Petrie committing holding right in front of the crease, and Petrie gets 2 minutes for "you can't do that," and then Chucky gets a fucking amazing snipe in in just clear open ice, and he puts it in 2-2 game, and the Bruins, and this I feel was the strongest. This I feel is like the Bruins. They're trying to make their period 3 plus minus is a lot. Their period 3 goal differential a lot better, because is 2 games ago they started 2 games ago their third period goal differential was -9. Now it is -3. But the Bruins still looks really strong, and Swayman is still making amazing saves. It's like, I am not kidding. I think Jeremy Swayman might end up winning a Vezina at some point if he continues this trajectory. But like a pasta, but just a little bit later, a pasta drive right into Montembo's pads again, and allows for Coyle to just be right at the near post as Petrie is trying to clear it in that direction, and Coyle can just chip it up and in to make it 3-2. For some reason, this ends up going as unassisted, which I don't know. I still think that Pasta should have gotten an assist for it, but that I feel might be just Pasta's thing now. Is driving it right into the pads, so it's so that your teammates can pick it up and score or while the goalie is trying to collect himself. But right after this, the Bruins, the TD Garden just erupts into the famous ole 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 chant, because that's what they do at the Bell Center when the Habs are winning. So why not give him an old taste? And it doesn't take long for Cole to show his face again a little bit later, because DeBrusk is like pushed up against the boards. I forget it by who, and then but he pushes the puck forward, and Coyle, who's just coming up off the bench, and takes it at like the top of the attacking zone and is able to skate up and across the crease and chip it on up and in to make it a 4-2 game. And after this, the Bruins feel like they play in just a little bit careless. It's right before the final five, but thankfully the Bruins did not. But thankfully the Bruins were able to clean it up, and the Habs obviously pulled old Montembo, and Hall ended up icing, and thanks to a breakaway with him and Pasta, Hall ends up getting a 30th birthday goal on an empty net to ice the game at 5-2, and that is the end of the game for the Bruins, who, again, I don't know what it is, but just seeing a team put up 40 or more shots in a game always makes me happy. Like, oh my, like, wow, that is a lot. But what do I think? But what do I think in this game? I feel like the Bruins made it a little. The Bruins made it a bit too much of a challenge for them to win in this one than it needed to be. I mean, again, Montreal is not great. They, I mean, sure, Tyler Toffoli is a great player. Nick Suzuki is a great player. Christian Dvorak, oh my God, talk about a Selke. I think that Christian Dvorak might honestly be in contention for a Selke. He's honestly great, and I still think that it is hilarious how this forward on a team that still sucks is doing this forward on a team that is still awful, but nonetheless a forward has more than twice the blocked shots of Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Yeah, that contract really did not do Arizona any favors, and it's certainly not doing Vancouver any favors. but also, what is it? I kind of want to, I don't know. I kind of want to give Arizona props for getting themselves out of that horrible cap situation that Chayka put them in because they, according to Cap Friendly, they have like $7.5 million of cap space left, and then after this season, they only have two forwards that do not have expiring contracts, and those being Andrew Ladd, and yeah, his contract sucks, but his ends the very next season, and I forget who else it was, but and I'm sorry for this tangent, but like it's just funny to me, but also Clayton Keller, and I don't know how to feel about that contract, but especially since Arizona still isn't that great. But just to bring it back to the Bruins, I guess, is they did not need to make this game as much of a challenge as it was, but and yeah, I feel like at some point I'm going to just be like, fuck the process. Fuck the process, a win is a win. But I think the Bruins, but I think really there isn't much else to say other than, and I hope that actually the win against Jersey is the thing that gets them into gear, because the Jersey win was basically a match of equals, and they succeeded so well, and I still think that that it might have been a different story if Jack Hughes was as healthy for that game, it would have been a different story. But also, I think if Mackenzie Blackwood was in goalie, it would have been a different story that game. But anyway, I think that is it for tonight's episode of Into the Den. Thank you all so much for watching. Quick like if you like, quick subscribe if you really liked the Bruins next game. Unfortunately, we do not have hockey on any weeknight tonight, so you can't drown the stars of having to do schoolwork with Bruins hockey. But the Bruins next game is away at the Flyers. Unfortunately, again, they're playing the Flyers, and I hope it goes a lot better than the second game of the season. But I think, shit, I really don't know how to end this one. Au revoir. Au revoir, Habs.